deep down, we all crave feedback. We all do, and the analogy you use is, hey, could you imagine being at a dinner party for 2 hours, you're having a great time, and all of a sudden you go to the bathroom real quick and you look and you see a big hunk of lettuce in your teeth and not a single person at the table has told you. It's like, what the heck? Just tell me, right? Because nobody at that dinner party who's all your friends, they don't want to hurt your feelings. Mm-hmm. But when sometimes you have an outside lens, objective.
Hey, you got something in your teeth. Thank God.
It's the same thing with coaching, right? It's the same thing with role playing that we're doing, because afterwards, it's not just the role play aspect. It's, hey, what did you notice? Mm-hmm. Where could you have cleaned something up? And these are two people who are doing those tasks, who have gone through, have put reps in, and they can idea share, number one, and then optimize their own flow, which again, just helps us all get better across the board.
Welcome to the Fitness CEO Podcast, a show dedicated to helping fitness entrepreneurs launch and grow successful gyms. Here's your host, Bryce Henson.
So day two, now we, have laid the foundation. Now we talk about running an L10 meeting, which is basically your level 10 meeting, which is a weekly cadence of accountability for your team, reviews and discipline, the importance of culture. We do have some more strategy session or sales role play, and then we finish out some hot seat coaching. But that morning is really the foundation of how to run your systems in the business, and ultimately how to execute team reviews and really work with your most important asset, which is your human capital.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big day on operations, and how do you refine your operations, your systems, your back end things, because those are super important to ensure that you're not missing things. People are getting a uniform experience, that sort of stuff. And the L10 meeting, is just so important that you get everyone on the team heading in the same direction. Mm-hmm. And I think that was, again, a big add as we began implementing EOS and the entrepreneurial operating system, is helping provide the structure and the framework to get a lot of our franchise partners into regularly structured meetings. Because when you have that cadence of communication, your coaches know what to expect more, like you have more alignment on what you're doing, and your probability of hitting your goals, your rocks or your big objectives, increases exponentially. Yeah. And without that, you're kind of like flying blind, in my opinion, which is why we put such a focus on those sorts of things, as well as the discipline and help giving course correction. Because I think sometimes, just as an entrepreneur, especially when, we were getting started, you're kind of out on an island, and I think the most amazing thing about, our franchise system is the connection between owners to owner, as well as now the development of CAP. And you look at where we're headed with these trainings, and we continue to get better. It provides more opportunity to just cast visibility on yourself, on maybe certain things you're doing in your business, and opportunities that you can really, okay, man, I really need to get better at this aspect, maybe in discipline reviews. I really got to get on a regular monthly cadence with these coaches so I can help just provide them better visibility. And it just exposes some gaps that maybe you haven't thought of, because you might have that feeling like you are on the island and you have to figure out everything yourself. But hey, support's there.
To put a bow on day two, one thing that you really, said that spoke to me was that peer-to-peer connection. And one of the things that we do, on day one as well for the sales training, but also day two, is basically break them up in groups and have them role play from a sales perspective, but also too, and even in day three from a coaching perspective, be able to give feedback. And that role playing, that, peer-to-peer interaction, no one likes to do it up front. Whenever we, cast the vision and we're kind of lay down the training, everyone's like, you got to be kidding me. No, I don't really want to role play. It's uncomfortable. It doesn't feel right. It's clunky, which it is. But every single time after we execute the feedback session at the very end, because really we spend 15 minutes and say, all right, friends, what went well? And then what's the opportunity to improve? Hands down, everyone's like, I didn't want to do the role play, but I am so glad I did, because now I feel empowered. And really that's the name of the game there. The last thing I want to point out, which is an innovation that we brought brought to the table with the feedback was hot seat coaching. Yeah. And one of the questions or the inquiries in the feedback after we're wrapping every single elite training was, we would love to hear from you, CJ, who's our 7-figure CJ and leader in the group. We'd love to hear from you, Barrett, and we'd love to hear from you, Bryce, on just some questions that we have that that give insight to your journey, or specific coaching questions, or anything that we can open up from a Rolodex perspective to add value. And that's one thing I didn't foresee, but really we've acted on the feedback. And probably one of the biggest takeaways that our participants have said they've really, really enjoyed is that hot seat coaching that we do at the very end of day 2.
Yeah, it's something. And when people initially start, and I always joke around because the first question is always the loudest crickets. Nobody wants to be that first one. But as soon as that one question comes out, and as we've done it now, you never know what that question's going to be. All of a sudden, the hands start going up. Hey, I want to ask this question, and that just starts to flow. So yeah, going back to the uncomfortability part with role playing, it's always the thing. Nobody wants to be that first. No one wants to be embarrassed or go out and take that first step. But as soon as it starts happening, oh man, it's like freaking magic. And I think the other thing that kind of, again, going back to the idea share and meeting coaches from different places, is oftentimes it's hardest to give feedback to the people closest to you because you don't want to hurt their feelings. But, and you use this analogy really well. Deep down, we all crave feedback. We all do, and the analogy you use is, hey, could you imagine being at a dinner party for 2 hours, you're having a great time, and all of a sudden you go to the bathroom real quick and you look and you see a big hunk of lettuce in your teeth and not a single person at the table has told you. It's like, what the heck? Just tell me, right? Because nobody at that dinner party who's all your friends, they don't want to hurt your feelings. But when sometimes you have an outside lens, objective.
Hey, you got something in your teeth. Thank God.
It's the same thing with coaching, right? It's the same thing with role playing that we're doing, because afterwards, it's not just the role play aspect. It's, hey, what did you notice? Where could you have cleaned something up? And these are two people who are doing those tasks, who have gone through, have put reps in, and they can idea share, number one, and then optimize their own flow, which again, just helps us all get better across the board.
Amen. Hey, my friend, hopefully you love that short teaser of the recent episode on the Fitness CEO podcast. To check out the full episode, it will be dropping shortly. But in the meantime, there's some other episodes around here that you need to see.